Hi everybody. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about brushes and brush care. I've got a couple of brushes here I've just washed out because I have been using some inks today in my painting. Generally with brushes you're going to find there's several kinds that you can use. There's synthetic bristle brushes made out of nylon. That's what I have here. And then I don't have any here, but you can also find, although this might be a natural sable brush, there are also bristle brushes. So sable, bristle, and nylon typically are what you're going to find brushes made out of. It's important in terms of usage to know what you're going to be painting with before you decide what types of brushes to use. Natural bristle brushes or sable brushes tend to work well for things like oil paints, but the synthetic bristle brushes, things made with nylon, don't work very well with the oil paints because they don't stand up long enough to the harsher chemicals that you use to clean your brushes with. So they're better suited for things maybe like watercolors or acrylic or what have you. Today I've just been working in oils, so you're just seeing what I have here. In terms of brush care, when you wash your brushes, I do recommend always use cold water. And the reason for that is because the warm water, the water is going to travel into the ferrule here, up into here where the bristles are glued, and warm water will have a tendency to soften the glue inside a little bit faster, and so you might find that your brushes begin shedding sooner and they just don't last as long if you wash them with warm or hot water. So I do recommend wash your brushes with cold water. And then I like to do, before I store them, I like to do this little trick that I learned to help them keep their shape. They last a little bit longer. Just get some basic hair gel. I don't typically do this for the brushes that I use for my oil painting. With oil painting I do a similar technique, but I actually use a product called Terpenoid Natural, which is a non-toxic, I believe, paint brush conditioner / paint thinner. And you can use kind of a similar technique, but what I like to do is just get some basic hair gel. And you know how when you buy brushes brand new, they have a nice shape and they're kind of stiff until the first time you wash them? Well, you can, when they're clean, you can just take the hair gel to reshape your brushes before you store them to dry. And it will help your brushes retain their shape quite a bit longer. And that way, if you've spent considerable money, I mean, we all know brushes can be super expensive. This is one way to help the bristles keep their shape longer. You can see this one is just starting to curl on the very, very end. And that can happen with use on a lot of brushes. And this is just one little technique. It doesn't have to be, you know, fancy hair gel. I just have a cheap off-brand hair gel. But you just brush them into the gel like that and let it dry. And then you want to give them a good wash with cool water before you begin painting again the next time. But this is going to help them keep their shape. It's going to help them keep better quality brushes quite a bit longer. One thing I did want to talk about though, these brushes here, I've just picked up not that long ago. I tend to use quite a lot of frisket or masking when I've been painting with either watercolors or India inks. And my experience with those, with using the frisket or masking, whichever you call it, when working with watercolor and India inks, is that it's better to find just a nylon bristle brush that's not super high quality. Don't go spending a lot of money on your brushes that you're going to be using in frisket. And the reason for that is you're not going to get a good many uses or opportunities to use the brush before it's just going to wear out from the frisket. And part of that is because the frisket itself is a rubber that you use to mask off, of course, where you don't want to paint. And it's really hard to get the rubber back out of the bristles once you've been painting with the frisket. And so just buy the cheapest brushes that you can find to do the job when you're using frisket, because you're going to end up throwing away the brushes a lot faster. And you don't want to use brushes that you've spent, you know, $30, $40 on a brush. You don't want to ruin it in frisket. But that gives you some tips to keep your brushes as new as possible, in as good a shape as possible, for as long as possible, considering the expense you put into buying them. Like I said, wash them in cool water And then with your acrylic brushes, your watercolors, your ink brushes, you can come in and shape them with the hair gel after you've washed them. And you can do a similar technique, like I said, with your oil painting brushes with Turpenoid Natural. And then you'll just want to give them a good rinse in a fresh batch of Turpenoid Natural before you begin using them for your next painting. So thank you for watching, and I hope I've helped you with a few tips and tricks for your crafts. Thank you.